recording. Let me just wait to see if it pops up. There we are. Right, so you've recorded now. Before I start, there's a couple of things I'll just say, okay? So I want to start by saying this is a safe space and I'm not here to judge you for your responses to my questions. I'm here to interview individuals so their voices are heard and awareness is spread. If at any point you feel uncomfortable, you can stop or pause the interview. If you don't wish to disclose or discuss a certain question, you're welcome to simply say pass and I'll move on to the next question. And before we start, I am going to advise a trigger warning, as the last question I'm going to be interviewing you about is around your personal negative experiences within the LGBTQ plus community. So there's a total of 13 questions. Does that all sound okay with you?
That sounds fine, yeah. Thanks for the warning as well.
That's okay. Okay, so question number 1. These are just basic to start with, okay? So what's your name?
My name is Ayla Morris.
And can you tell me the date and time, Ayla?
The date and time right now, it is the 28th of December and it is 2:15.
Okay, thank you. And who is present?
Just myself and, of course, you.
Yes, thank you. And what's your relation to me, Ayla?
We're school friends. I had classes as school friends, yeah. We're in AS level French together until I dropped out.
Thanks, Ayla. And how old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay. So, question number 6. What is your present sexual identity?
At the moment, I'm identifying as bisexual, although I have been given this some thought as to whether or not the pansexual label better fits, but at the moment, I am comfortable with bi.
Okay, it's good to know. And what is your present gender identity?
I wish I knew. At the moment, I'm kind of going as just non-binary, but I am actively looking for something that fits better because I don't really feel comfort with being a woman and I don't know if I feel comfortable with being a man. So at the moment, it's just simple standard non-binary.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Ayla. And number 8, has your gender identity or sexual orientation affected your experiences with employment opportunities?
I have been wary about disclosing it. I'm applying for medicine, which is with the intention to be a doctor. So obviously I'll be entering a very sort of safe environment. So I know I have the safety there, but I'm still kind of apprehensive. Like I nearly always prefer not to say in regards to gender identity. Sexual orientation, I'm a bit more. I will always put bisexual. I never put heterosexual because I feel uncomfortable with it. But gender identity, I can never take female, but I can also. I'm always just like, let's not do other either. Let's just not talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. And question number 9: have you ever questioned your sexual or gender identity?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every single day, pretty much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so like answered that then anyway, didn't you? So question number 10. What is your opinion on labels within the LGBTQIA plus community?
I know it's quite a contentious issue, I think, because a lot of people feel like I'm someone who I love labels. Like I want as many labels as possible so I can kind of narrowly define who and what I am. But I know a lot of people don't like that. Like I liked what you said earlier about the word queer. Like a lot of people really like it because it's kind of a catch-all and it's very inclusive. I personally don't. I definitely fall under it, but I've never gone, oh, that's me, because it's never kind of connected. I prefer sort of narrowing down. So that's why I'm definitely bisexual, but does pansexual fit better? Kind of I'm in an R and about it.
Yeah.
And then gender identity, I like that using non-binary as a catch-all term, but I am like actively like, let's try and find something to pin it down. So I think on the one hand, labels are really good, as in like I really enjoy using them to kind of narrow things down. However, I think there is a bit too much significance on them almost. Like that's why I respect those that do use the word queer, because it's like they found a term, they know what it means, bang, and the job is done.
Because that's what I love about the term queer, like for me anyway as a youngster, is like when I didn't know that I was a lesbian, like I used the term queer because it was like an umbrella term for someone that didn't identify as heterosexual, and like
Yeah, I
that's
think
what I know.
that's a
But
really useful term.
yeah, like at the time I didn't know like what I was, or you know. So for me it was, yeah, it's interesting to see like how you really wanted to like narrow it down, because
Yeah,
that's another thing I've been looking at is like filtering what you say before you say it. Like I forgot to say earlier, that's part of my project, is like that's the mindfulness behind linguistics, is like
right,
filtering,
yeah.
filtering and critiquing what you say before you even say it. Because my placement officer in uni, they're non-binary, and they use pronouns they them. And I was asking them what's like your negative experience as being part of the LGBTQIA plus community, and they said there's not so much one big experience, it's the little microaggressions that they experience. So people that have known that they came out years ago as non-binary, and then they still address them as,
Oh, like deliberately.
yeah, and
Oh,
like sometimes, and they said that sometimes it's not even on purpose, but it's like you tell someone so many times, and
oh no, it's a mark of disrespect at that point, isn't it? Because they've just
yeah,
shown that they don't care enough about you as a person,
yeah,
even if they don't understand it. Because you don't have to understand it, you just have to respect it, in my
yeah,
opinion.
exactly. And I was actually having this debate with my family last night. Is I
Oh,
I found especially with labels and like pronouns and how people decide what to call themselves. You like, I don't know if you found this, but do you feel like it's more straight, heterosexual, cisgender, like white people that have such a big problem with labels?
yeah, massively, yeah.
Like
It's
people
kind of
that
like
have never had to,
there's almost like this degree of like offense. Like they're like, why
yeah,
should I have to do this? Well, I haven't done anything wrong. And then they kind of double down on the negative attitude
yeah,
because they don't understand it and they don't see why they should be made to understand it. So,
no,
and I think it's a generational thing as well, definitely, because I find
yeah,
young generations, even if they don't get it, which a lot of people don't, they're more like, all right, fine. Whereas the older ones, they're like, don't understand it. No, not doing it at
yeah.
all. It's
And
just a
it's like
complete
a simple
dismissal.
case sometimes anyway, isn't it? It's like, even like to me, like it is still quite new. Like I only learned about they them pronouns like probably 2 years ago. So, like it is new for me, but it's like you can easily
Yeah,
like correct yourself if you call someone by the wrong pronouns. Just don't make
yeah.
it feel
I
like,
should say as well, I'm pronoun indifferent, so I don't mind she, they. I do with my friends and I normally do use they, or do you know about neopronouns as well?
no, what's that?
Right. Well, there's a kind of subset. You know, a lot of people have argued against like singular they them because it's kind of grammatically incorrect. It's not, but that's the
No,
first argument that people go to.
yeah.
Um, well, there's like these things called neopronouns, which are essentially new gender neutral singular pronouns. So I quite
Oh,
like the ones, it's an X and then an E for like, it's like they, I pronounce it
oh,
they, and
yeah,
then them, X, E, M, and then there's loads of them. There's A, M, there's Z here. So it's just like they, them, and it's used in the same way. So it's like you would say, they are going to the shop or some things like that.
oh, sick. I
Yes,
didn't even know about that. Like
I
I actually have
I think
seen
look them up
you.
because it's fascinating. Like I really like a lot of them. Like I've been looking at them and I'm like, this is great because it's just it
Yeah,
allows so much kind of creativity. A lot of people are very, very against them, I should say. Like this is actually a very contentious issue within like our community. Like a lot of people, like even trans people, are like, oh, they're making a mockery of the community. Like, you know, they're not proper pronouns, they're not real. And I'm like, well, are any pronouns real? Like,
yeah, it's hard,
yes,
isn't
yeah.
it?
It's
Yeah,
really fascinating though. So yeah, like
yeah.
I'm so glad I could introduce you to
Yeah.
this.
No, I'm glad you said that because I love learning about stuff like this. But I was going to ask you if you like know these pronouns. Do you know that like when you like address someone like their title and it says like MX?
Yeah.
How do you say that?
I think it's pronounced mix, so like
Mix. Oh, that's
so
on my mum.
Miss
That's
Mr.
what my
Miss
mum told.
Mix. Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it is mix. I'm not entirely certain. I think it's one of those things where like you just say mix and then if you're correct, you just get on with it
Yeah.
really.
Oh, there we are then. Oh, that's so cool. Thanks for educating me.
Is that right?
Right, I'll go on to the next question. And we've sort of covered this, but I'll ask you anyway.
Yeah.
So question 11, as someone who, I know you don't call yourself queer, but as someone who's part of like the
Yeah.
queer community, do labels provide you with a source of comfort or pressure?
Definitely comfort. As I've said, like, I like very specific labels to kind of identify the experience that I have. And I think labels help people to feel less alone, like even like kind of all encompassing ones like queer, because it's like, oh, I'm queer, you're queer, like the queer community, like, the trans community, the gay community. It's having that label allows you to connect with people who may not have had the same experience of you, but
Yeah,
do have similar ones. And there is kind of the common thread of like understanding. I think, well, in most cases, there are like exceptions, but I
yeah,
do think there is kind of a I'm trying to think of the word, but there is kind of a synergy between people like who exist on the margins like we do, because it's just we experience things in a way that other people don't, and then our
yeah,
experience is filtered through the labels. So it's kind of
yeah,
linking back to what you said. So it's how we think about what we are and how we then express it.
yeah,
I do think you said some a source of pressure. I do think there is a lot of people. There are a lot of people who look at a label and they feel a need to like compress themselves to fit into it. So like I know a lot of people who now identify as non-binary who initially thought that they were like binary trans, so they were assigned female at birth, and then they wanted to transition to male. But when they started transitioning to male, they were like, oh, this isn't it. Like now they use he, they pronouns, and they've realized that they want some aspects of physical transition, but societally they want to be recognized like as not a man and not a woman. They want to be agender.
yeah,
And I thought that was really interesting because it's like they felt the need to compress themselves in order to do what they wanted because of society, essentially. So I do feel that there is some external pressure and even like
yeah,
internal pressure to kind of conform in a specific way,
yeah.
just to fit. Does that make sense? Sorry.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, I know I've definitely, like, I feel like a bit of both. Like, I feel like they do provide a source of comfort for me. Like, I feel like they provide a source of comfort when you know where you fit in.
Yeah.
I feel like when you don't, I feel like so much pressure to, like, for me anyway, like, I know that I wasn't straight, so I felt like, oh, well, I have to have a label because otherwise, like,
Yeah.
I'm not part of the straight community. And I felt like, oh, I don't have a label, so I don't know where I fit into the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
And I just felt really like, I don't know, it did get me down for quite a bit. Like, I
There
was
is this,
like,
there's a loneliness in trying to find out like who and
yeah.
what you are, I suppose. Also, can I just say it's really funny how every single person in that AS French class was not straight except for this.
I was literally thinking that the other day.
Absolutely amazing. Also, it's just bless Mr. Jones because like just this little class of gays and he never knew.
I know that.
But
Oh,
anyway, back to the question. Sorry, I just thought that was really funny.
that is actually really funny. Right, so question number 12. Can you tell me about a positive experience or experiences as being part of the LGBTQIA plus community?
I think one of the best experiences I've had, there was it was one night, it was very early when I joined uni. And one of the best things about joining uni for me was the ability to then kind of explore who I was a bit more, because obviously, like, you've grown up in the Rhondda Valleys, it's kind of a bit stifling. So I thought, oh, I can come to uni now, like I can do whatever I want, I can be whoever I want. Because before I came to uni, I was I was pretty openly bisexual, I think. Like, you were in
Yeah,
school with me. I don't think I ever shied away from talking about it. But gender
yeah,
identity, I kept on quite a firm lock, because I wasn't something I wanted to think about, because I was like, we can't do it now.
yeah,
Let's not think about it. And then when I come to uni, there was a LGBT only night, essentially, for members of the Cardiff Pride community. And I went there and it was just like people had pronoun badges on, like people were like snogging their girlfriends, like full on, like just gays as far as the eye can see them. And I remember that as one of like the happiest nights of my life, because I was like, oh my God, there's loads of people who are like me, like I'm not alone. So I
yeah,
think the best positive experiences about finding out who you are is you have so many people around you who felt like the same way. and you kind of don't have to be alone anymore. And it's just, it's a
Yeah.
really lovely feeling that I think everyone should experience at least one point in their lives,
Yeah,
especially like,
definitely.
yeah.
My so I know I keep talking about them, but my placement
Oh,
officer actually told me about this bar in London, because they used to live in London, and it's
mm,
called Bar Whatever, and it's for like the LGBTQ community, and like it doesn't matter what you are or like what you identify as, but like you go in there and everyone's just like having a good time, and
yeah.
it's not labeled as like a gay bar, a lesbian bar, whatever. Like it's just for like you to be like who you are. So I don't know if you want to look that up, but it
I
sounds
will. No,
like
I will, boss. Of course. I'll put it on my phone.
it's called Bar Whatever.
I like that as well. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
They did say that was from a while ago though, so I don't know if it's still open, but
Oh, fingers crossed.
yeah, hopefully it'll be a right laugh a bit.
Yeah, well, as soon as the quarantine's lifted.
Yeah. Right, so it's the last question now. So I'm going to advise you again about the trigger warning.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about a negative experience as being part of the LGBTQIA plus community?
I think it is, like I've mentioned earlier, the loneliness. I haven't really gone into the fear. Like, I think there is always a level of fear that people won't accept you, especially if you know that people won't. Like, I have very, very religious family that I have not come out to and I will never come out to. So it's kind of that level of, oh, a part of me that will not be accepted if I discuss it with my family.
Yeah,
And you have to just kind of hide it. Like, it's fairly easy for me because I'm not physically transitioning in any way, but it's kind of painful to be like, referred to by like, even though I said I am fine with any pronouns really, it is just, it's like, oh, you're a girl, oh, you're a girl, oh, you're a girl, when you getting a husband? And it's just
yeah,
that constant level of just like, oh, I can't tell you the truth or I'd be potentially beaten. And
yeah,
it's just, yeah, so I would say the fear is definitely not just a personal experience, but kind of a general one. Even if it's like, even if people are fully accepting, like I knew my mother was like fully an ally to the gay community. So when
yeah,
I came out as bisexual, I think when I was like 12,
yeah,
um, it's been a while. But even then, I still had like a deep level of fear that I was like, I don't know why I had it, but I did. And I feel like that is just a thing that everyone has because it's like, what if they don't understand? What if they don't see who I really am? And I
yeah,
think that's one of the worst things about being LGBT.
yeah.
Definitely.
Feel, my God, I got a tickle in my throat. Hope it's not COVID.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, oh no, can you still smell and taste?
um, do you feel the need to like come out to people?
I think I would like to. As I said, I like pinning down my experience, and I don't like being misinterpreted. Like, I like people to see my intention, and I do think like I kind of resent the idea because a lot of people are like, oh, they're gay and they make it, oh, that's like their whole personality. I really don't like that perception of things because it's like, I know a lot of people who are straight and that may as well be their only personality trait because they don't have any others, but
Yeah,
that's not an issue. Whereas if you're like quite flamboyantly and like openly gay, then that's it. And
yeah,
you're kind of blamed for being openly who you are when straight people, when that's all who they are, it's not
yeah,
a thing. So I think that coming out and being who you are is important, like even if it's misinterpreted by those with kind of negative viewpoints of the gay community or in
yeah,
the queer community.
yeah,
Um, so I think, yeah, coming out is definitely important, but that's why if you can't come out for whatever reason, then that can be a source of pain instead of a source of joy, which I think is
yeah,
probably one of the worst things about being LGBT, other than like, the fear.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Like I remember, like when I grew up, so my mum's brother, he is gay, and his like he lived like his partner's passed away now.
Oh.
Like to us, like it was so normal. Like we'd go up to my uncle's like in Southend, like in Essex,
Mm.
and like it wasn't until my mum's like, "Oh, they're having a civil partnership," that I was like, "What? He gay?" Like I thought they were like best friends living together. That's how, like normal it was to me, and I just remember thinking
Yeah.
like, "Oh, stuff this. Like I'm not coming out to my family because like my brother and sister have never had to come out and say they are straight, so I'm not going to come out and say.
I like that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that
and
attitude.
I just thought, you know what, like if it comes up, and I'll say it, but I'm not going out of my way to say I'm this, I'm that, because like one, I didn't know where I fitted
Yeah.
in, and two, like I just like didn't. I was just like, why am like I'm not gonna put that pressure on myself when
Yeah.
other people have never had to put that pressure on themselves. So that was like what I've sort of done. And like with my like that's what I've done with nearly all my like the only people I've come out to were the girls from school.
Mm.
Um, but like that was like awful anyway. Like it was so many. Like I remember. Like I'll tell you this because it's quite funny, but like kind of sad at the
Okay.
same time. So when I was like 16, I had a house party.
Mm.
And Kayla brought her iPad, so like I logged in on her iPad to like to play music and stuff all night.
Yeah.
And then obviously after like I didn't log out and I was watching like coming out videos, like Ellen DeGeneres coming out videos.
You're still logged in on her iPad.
Yeah, and she screenshot and sent it into the group chat when we were in like, oh, I don't know, year nine, something like that.
What?
And
Oh, that's not good.
she was like, oh my God, who's the gay one? Like, who's this, who's that? And I just remember like it pushed me so far into the closet. I was like, right, fuck this, like I'm not coming out because like
Brown, I'm so sorry. That's horrible.
I
That's
know it is really horrible, but like I'm not friends with them anymore. I'm only friends with like Grace and that.
yeah.
But like and like I remember then like when I did confront it, like obviously I told him at the start of lockdown, like only this year.
Mm.
And they were all like, oh my God, like we're here for you. And I just thought, you know what, you know though, because like at the time, like they were saying like I wouldn't change front doing PE, like I wouldn't like
Really?
all that, yeah, like and like they
I mean,
didn't know like
I'm
they
not
never
surprised.
no, like
Yeah.
they never knew it was me. Like they
No,
never knew it was
really, you
me
kept it
because
like,
loads of people were logged into Kayla's.
oh, so
Um,
you had kind of the deniability. Oh, that's good.
so I just had to like pretend it was a me. And I remember then like when I did say to the girls, like, oh, I obviously haven't been able to say because of like how like thing you were at the time about it. And
Yeah.
I understand you were young, but like it's still like not okay. Um, and like Kayla was like, "Oh, I feel awful now," and like I just and I didn't even say, it's okay," because to me it's not
Well,
okay.
no, that's not okay. That's a terrible, like, obviously it's good that she regrets it, but like that is a terrible thing she
Yeah,
did. It's
and
like,
like, do you know what? I can understand because when you are young,
yeah,
you like if you're not from in the community
yeah,
like most people in the community, you know when you're young, don't you, that there's something different about you to everyone else.
yeah.
Like I know, and like even though I can't put my finger on it, I just know that
Someone
yeah.
wasn't right.
And I just thought, oh, like I don't know, I just hope like I feel like the more people talk about it and like the more we like spread awareness as much as we can while still putting our safety first,
Yeah,
then
we could stop things like that from happening
yeah,
again.
then like
Yeah,
slowly, like it starts to become more of like a norm, like talking about it, and then like I found like younger people now are like saying who they are, and like
yeah,
they're like if they're a girl, they're dating a girl, or like they're just dating whoever they want. Whereas like when I was young, and like I
yeah.
don't know if it's the same for you, like you'd never date a girl in primary school.
Oh God, no, no.
Like you'd always have a
Um,
boyfriend or
yeah,
something.
like I think, like I always, like I was a bit like kind of insular in Treorchy, obviously. But I think like my little group, we were all a bit fruity, as it were. It's like obviously I had Liam and Solomon, um, and then like there was Sadie Ellen and that, and I remember distinctly. I think it was. Do you remember Megan Francis?
Yeah.
She's youth conservative leader for health and culture now. So is that, and I remember distinctly we were in like it was in the science block. I don't know if it was a science lesson, but I remember distinctly like her saying like, how do you know you're bisexuals, or like how do you know? And I remember just kind of looking at her and wanting a scrap, but just looking at her and being like, well, how do you know you're straight? And then she started like stammering, well, oh, like, obviously I'm straight. Da, 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 da. And I was just like, well, same thing, then, innit? And it was just kind of the unthinkingness of it, like just the ignorance that wasn't meant to be
Yeah.
malicious, but it just is still like hurtful because it's like it's not hard to be
Yeah.
respectful. At least I don't think it is.
Yeah.
So it's
Like
just like then. Yeah.
Like I've noticed that like on like Instagram and stuff, like if I put up like a story like saying like the other day I put something up about being lesbian, and like the amount of people that like requested to follow me or like would like pop up to my story like take like Tane Handy, like I won't include this in the project, but like he popped up to me and he was like, "You a lesbian, yeah?" And I was like, "Well, I've just stated it in my story, like, so I don't know whether you need to question it." But I was like, "Yeah, I am," as it goes. And he was like, "Oh, fair enough." And I texted him back. I just said, "Are you straight?" "Yeah, Tane." And he went, "Oh no, I didn't mean it in any way." And I was just like, "Well, what flipping way did you mean it?" I just said to him, "Oh, well, I'm glad you've cleared up the confusion you had around my sexuality then."
It is. It's, people feel like almost entitled to like just ask these weird questions, and I'm like, mate, Wikipedia exists. Like, go Google
Yeah,
it.
literally.
It was,
It's like stop relying on us to educate you when
mm.
you've been the one to oppress us for so long.
Yeah, like the boys in school were terrible for that because obviously I was open, like, oh, I do fancy girls, so like I would often get like just boys being like, oh, what do you think about this, or like, oh, like I think someone did say something about like, she was like, oh, you like, I thought you were a vegetarian, why do you like eating fish? And I was just like,
Oh, that's
you
the
are
worst joke I've
60.
ever heard.
Literally, I was just there like, I was laughing, but I think it's not right. Like, you don't say that to someone, but it is
No.
very funny. I
Like I
can't
don't
I
think
can't remember who that was. I think it was
no
that was in like set four math, so that was like,
a while ago.
yeah, that might have been like, yeah, I think I was like 13 then. So yeah, 13, that's more of an excuse.
Yeah.
But
Like
still.
and I always think as well, like imagine if in school we didn't have just heterosexual sex ed. Like
Oh,
imagine like the difference
the
that would
sex ed
make.
about Chalky, Jesus. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I hope to God these kids have better shit than we had. Because like there was
Yeah.
nothing. I remember this year nine, we had, I think, one gay couple in like the little flashcards we had for one thing, and it was like a rape scenario. And I remember being really pissed off. Like I was like, that's
No.
the only thing you've mentioned about gay people, and it's a fucking date rape scenario. I was like, I think I did say something about it to the woman. She was like, "Oh, well, it's just on the cards, like you think." And I was like, "Well, you're distributing the cards. You must have some like control over this. Like,
Yeah.
sort it out." And obviously, I was a kid, so they were just like, "Nah, fuck
Yeah.
off."
I think it's bad though. Like I do feel like if they're still not providing like LGBTQ sex ed,
Yeah.
then like I feel like like someone needs to say something because I just think like fuck that. Like I had to educate myself like last year
Yeah.
on like safe sex within like with lesbians. Like I didn't know there was finger condoms. I didn't know there was
Yeah.
femdoms. Like the fuck, like
Yeah, like they
all
don't
I
say
knew was
anything about like
condoms.
dental
And,
dams and things like that. And I'm like, well,
yeah,
straight people have oral sex as well. Like, surely you want to be educating people
yeah,
about that just because, like, it's just the assumption that every single like sex is going to be the same, like it's going to be heterosexual, like it's going to be cisgender. It's just so annoying.
yeah.
And yeah, like it really leads, that helps to like that culture of like loneliness because it's like, well, I don't know how to fuck, so I can't, can I?
Yeah, and it like that. I think that's what sets people back. Like I know that's what set me back as well. Like I didn't date girls like years after to like
Yeah.
years after school, and it's like because like you don't learn how to. You only learn how to date the
It's like,
opposite sex.
uh, it's like a block almost because it's like I definitely felt the same. Like I've been on, happy to say, I've been on a few dates with girls like pretty much straight after uni. I was like, right, it's time to get gay. But there is, it's a definite like stumbling block because whereas like as a teenager, like a lot of heterosexual people have like the experiences to fall back on. We've got literally nothing, so it's all new
Yeah,
territory. So
yeah,
yeah, no, I 100% agree. There needs to be more stuff and like better stuff than what we had,
yeah,
100%.
definitely, definitely. Like sorry if this is going on a bit long, but
No, it's fine.
laughing, but like I remember saying to my tutor, like, and I've been thinking for so long, like this is my experience. I don't know if you feel the same, but like when I was younger, like I created like part of personality to protect myself, so people wouldn't think that I was
100%.
like not heterosexual. Because like at one point I was bi, and then I turned lesbian. Like not turned, I feel like that's
No, I know what you mean, but it's like,
but then I like transitioned into being a lesbian. But like I remember like now I feel like is the hard part, like as an adult, like I
yeah,
think I lost out on teenage years, like trying to like protect myself. So I didn't I couldn't grow up like being like a teenager, like worry free or like just exams. Like it wasn't just exams, it was like stressing about like myself as well and like my
just
safety.
like the
Like
way you're perceived by others. I completely
yeah.
understand. I
And
felt
like
the same way.
now it's like the like figuring out like what parts of me actually are me and what parts of me I made
Made
up to protect myself. Like I
no,
don't know. Do you feel
100%.
like you can relate to that?
100%. Yeah, like not so much, maybe because I was obviously kind of openly bi, but I think definitely in regards to the gender identity, because I was always very kind of masculine and like, like I like to be with one of the boys, one of the lads.
Yeah.
But I think I kind of, it's like I really don't like the word tomboy because like it's just a thing. But like that was always what I was like called. It was like, oh yeah, oh I'm a woman, but I just I'm one of the lads as well. And
Yeah.
like I would deliberately kind of craft that persona, and I think it was almost a way as well to be like, oh, of course, Ayla likes girls, like they're just one of the lads, so it's
Yeah.
fine. Like, and you do, it's just you create like the attitudes, like I think because you were like friends with all girls mostly, like close friends, weren't there? So I can
Yeah.
imagine it must have been really difficult for you to just try and explore like who you were as a lesbian when like they did shit like that. Because what did you find they were like kind of casually homophobic? Because like I
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, and like they
100%.
wouldn't think twice about a comment, but they would say it, and then you'd just be like, oh, I don't like that. And it could have been like the smallest little thing. Like one of the things I had is whenever I would talk about like, say if I fancied a boy amongst like the girls who I was friends with, that would be fine. We would all have a great time. If I spoke about a girl who I like enjoyed, as it were, there was always this like degree of uncomfort, and it was like I always felt that I had to be like I could say what I liked about like dicks. I could be disgusting, but the second I said anything about vagina, it was like it's not acceptable though, is it? And it's just kind of just stuff
Yeah.
like that, and it does build up, and I do think yeah we didn't really have like the teenage years that other people had, so
No. No.
we're kind of in our teenage years now, I suppose, when it's
Yeah,
like
that's what I feel like. I feel like fuck it, I'm not gonna grow up yet. I'm having my childhood again.
I think I can't wait because if I get into medicine, that's 4 more years of uni before I have to do
Oh,
anything. So I think it's just
hanging.
part of it. Because
Just
it's like
go for it. I
bit
just
more of the student loan, bit more of it. Like obviously pandemic hasn't helped. Can't go clubbing.
no.
Yeah.
At least have you managed to save a bit of the pandemic?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because I didn't even notice, and then I was like, oh well.
Save.
Have you felt the same as well?
Oh no, not at all. I
I
just
tell you, I discovered Depop in quarantine though, and that's one of the worst things I've ever found. It's so
yeah,
bad.
I feel like I'm always like going to charity shops and stuff there.
Love a
Nah,
chat.
at the start I was really bad. Like, I was really like not conscious about my like contributing to fast fashion. So
Oh.
it cringes me out. Like I bought so many clothes, but I just don't do that anymore now. But now I feel like I spend so much money on petrol, like because I'm a K-reg, and like round and
Yeah, I saw your thing. Where are you working at?
in the Vale and Cardiff.
Hi. Are you kind of bouncing from place to place, just filling in vacancies? Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
well,
Yeah.
no, I've got contracted hours,
Oh, okay.
so like I just have runs, but it's
How
like
are you finding it, like in COVID? Because like Mam's off work at the moment. Like obviously she's mental health, but
yeah,
she hasn't been in work for quite a while. 'Cause she had to have surgery last in the summer.
yeah.
Um, but like, how have you found it with COVID and everything going on? Because I imagine, is it like, are you scared or?
Not really, like, 'cause I only started as a carer like 2 months ago, but like I was 'cause I was a lifeguard as well. Like I was
Mm,
working in leisure centres, so like I was in contact with people like working
yeah,
there anyway, and like like when the leisure centres were closed, like I was put in a hub, so I was working with kids, and they don't understand COVID, so they were just like wrapping their arms around
oh,
me. So I just feel like, oh, like I've just been exposed to it all this time. But like in catering, like you have to wear a mask going in and out to people's
yeah,
homes. You don't take it off. So I just think like, oh well, I'm doing what I can. But if I do get it, it's like sort of inevitable. Like I wouldn't be surprised the amount of people I'm coming in contact with. Like,
Yeah, no,
I'm
yeah.
surprised I've not got it yet. Like, I had a test not long ago and it come back negative, but I'm just shocked that I've not had it yet, or that I know of.
My flat housemate rather, she's she's studying to be a mental health nurse, but she's on placement all the time, and she's quite like afraid of getting it. So I know that's
No.
the thing, because I think she's got like asthma, but it's mild asthma, but she's still worried that it could complicate things. And I've been a bit concerned because obviously I'm a medical pharmacology, so I'm in the hospital a lot. And
Yeah.
like next year I'll be in the labs like every week. And to get to the labs you have to go into the hospital and like next to a ward. So it's a bit like, what am I gonna run into? So I think,
Yeah.
it's good that you're not worried though. I think that's
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, obviously, I do think it's a really serious issue, and like we need to do as much as we can. But I'm just
oh no, I yeah, because
like,
it's like, if we do get it, there's literally nothing we can do about it other than just,
and I just feel like anyway, like I'm young, I'm healthy, reasonably fit, so I'm not too. But
yeah.
if I get it, I'll just probably be a bit unwell, and
It did. My friend Stuart had it, and it knocked him out for a few like weeks, like just sleeping like 18 hours a day. But other
yeah,
than that,
that's like my mate
fine.
Alex.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that's like my mate Alex. Like, she had it, and like she's not had symptoms, and like she's all clear now, but she's like sleeping so much. She said it just knocks you out, like.
It's mad, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it is. But I don't know. Hopefully we'll get past it soon, and
yeah, vaccine's being released, so
you're
fingers
gonna
crossed.
get there.
Yeah, I think if I get into medicine, I'll have to have it because I'll be on placement things.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of waiting out. Granddad, because he's over 80, he's ringing his GP every single week, like, where's this vaccine? Where's this vaccine then? Come on. So
Oh,
yeah,
bless him.
I keep shouting at people on Facebook. You might have seen it pop up in your timelines about anti-vax people.
Oh no,
I've got a few in my family, and I just shout at them non-stop because it's just so annoying.
Yeah, like literally, like I want to get it. The only thing I'm like nervous about is like the fertility thing.
Yeah, like that is a concern, I think.
Cause like I know, like I really want to have children. Like I want to be pregnant, so I'm just like, oh, like it's the only thing that's like holding me back. But
I think the fertility complications thing is quite low. Like I haven't,
mm,
from what I've seen, like the rate it is a possibility though. But
yeah,
I think you can have like, not counselling, but I think you can like talk it over with like NHS 111 or whatever the Wales
yeah,
equivalent is about it. Like if you are concerned, so
yeah,
like give it a go if
yeah. Oh,
you
that's
feel like
cool.
it.
Give it a yeah. Maybe I'll do that. But I think I should be getting it soon anyway because the class is like a key week.
Yeah, Kira, you need it honestly. Front
Yeah,
lines.
yeah. So hopefully I'll be getting that soon anyway. So
Oh
yeah,
no, fingers crossed.
yeah,
That's all the questions, wasn't it, as well?
yeah. That's all of it. I'll stop recording now.
All right.
I didn't realise it was